And good evening and welcome to Geek Show number 2. Yay! Hey! Thank you very much, Frandy. And as always, we have the Funboy 3. Tonight we have, all the way from millions of miles away, I'll go the wrong way, that way, Andy from Worcester. How are you, sir?
I'm very good, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So hopefully your week's going well, sir.
It's not going too badly, not going too badly. Yeah.
Not going too badly. Brilliant. And then from up north, our favourite Manchester person in the whole world, it's Skelly. How are you, sir?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. Awesome. Really excited to have you both on the show. Welcome, everybody. If you've got some comments and questions, please post them up to the panel. What is everybody drinking tonight? I am back on the tea, the Saw tea.
I've got my usual rum and coke. This is just a subtle hint to people to go, well, if you want to buy me stuff, rum.
If they see you in a bar, I'd like a rum and coke.
Yeah, and if any rum companies are watching and want to sponsor the show.
It can only help my painting, that's all I can say. Definitely. Yeah. And Skelly, what do you want? What are you drinking, sir?
I think I'm just on water tonight. It's a school night.
Oh, awesome. Well, we've already got people on. Hello from Tony.
The Whovian Wizard. He has an amazing YouTube channel. He has a really good YouTube channel. The Whovian Wizard, yeah, he's really, really good. He does a lot of Minecraft and that kind of stuff.
Hello, Whovian Wizard.
Well worth watching.
All right,
definitely tune into that. Go subscribe and do all that stuff. Okay, I'm not biased because it's my son. Don't worry about that. It's just.
Oh, is it? Oh, excellent. I will check him out.
I don't know who it is.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Hello, everybody. Hiya, Travis. Oh my God, everybody's on it. It's Doug, Peter, Tony again. Hello, everybody. I hope you are all excited. We are super excited. And tonight, guys, we have two things we're going to be talking about. So this is your weekly fix of Super Geek. What is chic in geek this week? And we have two things. So we're going to first of all start talking about Aliens, another glorious day in the core. Hey, so Andy, when did this bad boy first drop?
I think, oh, blimey, I don't know. Time has no meaning at the moment because of lockdown. It could have been 5 minutes ago. It could have been 2 years ago. It's hard to know. I think it came out about 6 or 8 weeks ago, maybe. I don't know. Somebody will probably pop up and say, no, it's been a lot longer than that. I can't remember, to be honest. It was one that kind of came out of nowhere, and then it came, and we were all excited, and then it arrived, and then we've had restocks. So it's been a while. It's definitely been a while, but yeah, I can't remember when. There was a Christmas maybe involved. I can't remember.
Right, let us just... Dun, dun, dun. So it is out by, is it Gale Force 9?
Gale Force 9, the guys that have released it, yeah. Best known for their kind of hobby products, and they do Flames of War as well. That's another one of theirs.
Okay, are they? Do you know where they're from? Are they an American? Or
I think they're New Zealand based. All their manufacturing is done in Malaysia. Then it goes to New Zealand for them to kind of check it, and then they send it to the rest of the world for us to finally get a copy of stuff.
Oh wow! So first of all, so the Alien game. This is the initial box.
Yep, that's your core box right there. Another glorious day in the core. That has everything you need in there to play the game.
And I have I haven't really. I've opened it, but I haven't got any of the bits out yet. So we can go through that together in a moment. If we just go through what is there. Skelly, have you seen this game at all? Are you an Aliens fan?
I do like Aliens. I've only seen this game pop up about this week, I think, when you guys have been raving about it. It does look good.
It is. I was a big Space Hulk fan, which was always, I love Space Hulk, but really I wanted Aliens. You know what I mean?
Space Crusade, which was, I think, possibly a precursor to Space Hulk. I remember that.
It was, yeah, back when GW worked with MB Games.
Yeah, right. Hero Quest and Space Crusade grew up with.
Yeah, I love Space Crusade. We still play Space Crusade in the store. We do a lot of Space Crusade kind of leagues and stuff. Oh, wow. Yeah, I love that game. Awesome.
Is Space Crusade, do they wear flares, or is that just what's going on in my brain?
You might be thinking of the early Space Marine power armor. It's kind of flared at the cuffs. It's a look. Because no Space Hulk had Terminators, but Space Crusade just had bog standard Marines and always outnumbered, never outgunned.
So I am like most of you guys, I am a massive Aliens fan. Aliens 2, one of the best films ever made. Aliens 3, it then sort of went horrifically downhill from that point. But this game is stunning. It's not similar to Aliens. This is Aliens, isn't it?
Yeah. It's clearly being made by somebody who loves the franchise.
So let me just zoom in on the actual figure. So Andy, would you like to talk us through what the figures are like?
Yes. Yeah. To be honest, it's one of those ones that the figures are lovely. They're hard plastic. They don't necessarily look like the characters. It's not like they got, we need Sigourney Weaver's exact likeness, but it's been done with such love for the franchise that you just look at them and you know who is who. They've captured the character of each character beautifully in the models. Like from left to right on that picture, you've got Hicks, and he's got his shotgun because he keeps it for close encounters.
Yeah.
You've got Hudson with his little tracker. Gorman with his pistol and his cap.
Man. Game over.
Yeah. That's Vasquez with the
Vasquez. Yeah.
That's. I'm sure that's Vasquez.
That's Vasquez.
Can't tell the cap
Vasquez. Drake slightly taller.
Yeah.
Then you got Frost,
Wow.
Ripley, and obviously Newt. High affirmative, Newt.
Yeah. So the interesting fact, the only fact the only fact I know about this is the first edition print of this game, guys. You get Newt doing the salute with the helmet on. So if you've got the first edition, you get that. I don't know what the second edition looks like, but it's a different figure.
Yeah.
So look at that, Andy. Did I impress you then with my knowledge?
Well, my imp is thoroughly pressed.
Does that mean I've got a chance of being a Saturday boy at your shop?
Well, we might be able to squeeze you in.
Trial shift.
Yeah. Exactly. So are these figures about the same size as like Blood Bowl?
No, these are considered small. These are actually proper 28mm scale. So obviously GW over the years, they've had scale creeps, so things have gotten bigger. They started off at 28mm and it's got bigger and bigger and bigger until we're like 32 heroic or something now. So they're huge comparatively. Whereas these are proper 28mm, so quite small. But the detail on them is beautiful. For the amount of detail they're getting on such a small model, they've got everything on there.
Yeah, and these are as you said, these are hard plastic. Is most models not hard plastic then? I don't know the difference.
To be honest, everything is kind of going across to hard plastic these days. A lot of people are kind of, if they're doing something like this, you might think they go across to resin because you can get that much more quality and detail from them.
Yeah.
But hard plastic's cheap and easy to produce. You just occasionally might lose a bit of quality in the casting, but these they haven't. These are absolutely beautiful models.
Wow.
So yeah, for hard plastic, they're ideal. And each one of the bases has the name of the character on it as well, which is a really nice little extra touch.
So no scrawny handwritten names on the back spelt wrong.
No, don't need to do that yourself. Obviously, you still could if you want.
Well, you've obviously seen my paintings. So.
Well, it'll definitely be spelt wrong, that's for sure.
It'll definitely be spelt. Oh my god, always. So that is the core set. There looks like there is some expansions for it. Ultimate Badasses.
Yes, I have that in front of me. The Ultimate Badasses expansion is essentially it's the rest of the Marines.
Oh, and let's go down. So we've got them on here. So can you explain from left to right? Because these look awesome. If you're an Alien fan, even if you're not into board gaming, just buy this. This is just
like I said, they are absolutely beautiful. They're not exactly the likenesses, but you know exactly who everyone is because of the love and care that's been put into each of them.
Yeah.
So who have we got there? Who's pointing? I believe that's Apone is pointing. Is it Apone? Yeah, Apone. Yeah, he's going to get lit. Well, fortunately, because of the aliens, he never got lip cancer from smoking those, so that was quite a good thing. They saved him from that. The flame unit is. Let's have a quick look. Where are we? Flame unit is Dietrich.
Awesome.
So for anyone that actually is that invested in the movie can remember half of these secondary characters. Dietrich was with the flamethrower. Then we have.
Can I guess?
Go on.
Is it Where's Basky?
It isn't. It's Crow. But good try.
I would imagine
one or the other. Yeah, Crow with the pulse rifle.
Yeah.
Then you've got Drake.
Drake was one of my favorites. Awesome.
Yeah, Drake is amazing. Then it's Verbowski. and then obviously Carter J. Burke.
And what a Burke he was.
Corporate scumbag. Oh.
How much is this? Do you get extra bits in it? So you get 6 extra figures, which being a massive Aliens fan, I have to have this. And you get more dice?
Yeah, you get another 4 dice. You've got character cards for all those characters, same as you have in the core box. Which is probably the most astounding thing out of all of this is they've actually managed to find 2 pictures of Crow. Considering I couldn't have picked him out in a lineup if I'd have seen him, because the only time I remember seeing him is just before he gets blown up after Frost goes over the railings. So the fact they managed to find pictures of him and Babowski, that's just insane. They've managed to find pictures of them. And you get some cards as well.
Cards as well. How much about is this? So how much is the core game and how much is this?
So core box is £50 RRP.
That's really good.
£25 RRP.
Wow.
So it's about half the price because you get about half the stuff.
And that's all available from Worcester War Games, our favourite.
Stock.
And people can order that online or give us an email or whatever.
Up and running. So worcesterwargames.co.uk. You can go there and you can order a copy of it, much like Tony has. Tony has bought one from us.
Mr. Broad, yes, he's one of us.
That'll be winging its way to him on Saturday, so it should be with him on Tuesday next week.
Awesome. Oh my God, that is absolutely stunning. So there is another expansion. The Get Away From Her, You Bad Person. This looks awesome. Oh my God.
It's everything you could want. What more is there after this?
You get one and a half bishops.
One and a half bishops.
We don't just give you one bishop, we give you 50% extra bishop for free.
For free.
Yeah.
So how big? So they're all in like scale, aren't they? Oh my God.
Yeah, the Queen is huge. She's an absolutely massive model.
Is this out? Are these all out now?
These are all out as well, yeah. These are all the current releases. So they've done these, and then they're releasing these models separately in a couple of weeks' time, I believe. So if you do kind of go, I don't want to buy the game, I just want the power load, or I just want an Alien Queen.
Oh, seriously, wow. So you could maybe have the pack, but you want like 2 Alien Queens or 2 power loaders or whatever.
Yeah, if you want to play on hard mode and just have all Alien Queens and no Alien troops, then go for that.
That'd be awesome. Oh my God, that is amazing. And also, I've seen somewhere you can get this extra box of bits.
Yeah, now this is a weird one because I've got one of these and I didn't know what the deal was with it, because when it arrived with everything else, it didn't have any RRP or anything on it. We're like, what's this all about then? So they sent us like 2 of them or 3 of them. So I nabbed one of them immediately. And it's objectives and alien eggs and sentry guns and little extra bits and pieces that you can just kind of throw on the board.
And was that can you buy that, or is that just one of those you have to be in the cool gang?
I think you can. I think you have to they gave them out as freebies to us as retailers. So we just went, right, well, we'll pop them out. So anyone who buys the stuff, they can potentially buy one of those as well, because like I said, we only got 2 or 3 and we got 6 copies of the game. So it's kind of first come, first served. But yeah, I believe if you still buy it from Gale Force 9, they are still sending these out to people, just as a little sweetener to go to them instead of coming to independents.
Yeah.
Which is, thanks, Gale Force 9.
That is awesome. We'll have to try and get in contact with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a quick one on the actual box. So here is my box. I had it for my birthday. Was it my birthday last week? Yes, it was. As I've told everybody about 100 million times. So in the box is super heavy. You could quite happily club somebody to death with this. This is a very heavy breeze blocky kind of. Oh, that was the box, not me. Yeah. First of all, you get the cards on very thick cardboard. It's like really sturdy. Look at that. It's not. It looks a bit like Ripley. This is the real deal, guys. All these fake Alien games we've had over the years, and this one, they've actually got the proper IP. Unbelievable. It's worth it for this, isn't it? If you're an Aliens fan, there's a ton of... I've not played it yet, so hopefully once we are allowed out of lockdown, we'll have to get together and do a live stream and play it, because I am... If you see my painting is pretty poor, if you see me trying to play these games, I'm even worse. The next one, what's this then, Andy? What's this?
So that's all your tokens and stuff. That's all the things you need. So objective markers and everything else you need basically to play the game on the board.
Are they egg
So-
tokens near the bottom?
They're like alien face
I think they are,
things.
aren't they?
I think it. Yeah, I think if you've got, I think is this one. If you've got multiple aliens on one square, you can sort of stack them up.
I think it is, yeah, because obviously you've only got quite small squares on the boards
yeah.
themselves. They give you
Yeah.
tokens to represent multiple aliens in one place.
Excellent. I've just got some witty comments there from people on the stream. There's like I haven't put these together yet. There's like a dial system for like when you're shooting. You have to build these little
Yeah.
dially things.
Yeah, because you only get limited ammo.
Only limited ammo, which is not good for somebody like me. Then there is the awesome Newt. Skelly, am I enticing you into possibly purchasing this game?
You get a lot of bits of it. It does look an engaging game.
Right, and now only the best. Vasquez and Cook. There's a hell of a lot in this box. And
There
Frost.
is.
Frost is awesome. And then also a bit a la Space Hulk, sort of map boards. So I suppose you can put them around.
They do remind me of Space Hulk.
Yes. Awesome quality. It's even got like debris and the logos on it and stuff like that. Absolutely amazing. Tons of those. Tons. I should be a salesperson for Gale Force 9. Tons of these guys. Then there's what are these things?
So is that your scenarios? Yes, that's your
I think
mission
it is.
cards.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically the scenarios. The scenarios themselves are literally Aliens, the movie. You play from the moment you meet Newt up until
Wow.
you have the power loader fight with the Queen at the end. Spoiler, sorry.
Spoiler.
If you haven't seen it yet, too late.
Yeah.
But yeah, it literally takes you step by step through all of those different things.
Oh
The
my
whole
god.
movie is amazing.
Have you played it yet? I
haven't.
not.
I've watched a couple of playthroughs.
Right. If anybody
Busy
has
building and painting it.
if anybody has, guys, yeah. Please let us know what you think of the game. If you have actually played it, we have loads of people watching. There is the rule book, and it's got loads of cool bits and it just information of actually how to play it, all in full color. It's looking really, really good.
There are a lot of playthrough guides on YouTube. A lot of people have done playthroughs on there of how to play the game. So if you're lazy like me and you don't want to read it, just go on YouTube and watch somebody else play it and pick it up as you go.
Just watch one of those. That's exactly right. There are some dice. Normal dice. So these are just your normal.
Well, you got a D6 there. Well, how many sides is that other one?
D6, D8, D8, and what's the other one? 10? D10? There's stuff.
Yeah, it's a D10.
We have cards. Loads of different cards. Again, I've not read any of this yet, so I haven't got it out the box, but I will be over the weekend. And then the figures. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Ooh, look at those bad boys. And loads of alien stuff. Oh my god, loads of aliens. In fact, how many of these spruces do you get of aliens?
There's 16 aliens in the box.
16 aliens. That's good.
A lot of aliens.
That is a lot of aliens. Let me just, while we're here, have you got any tips for painting the aliens, Andy?
No, none whatsoever.
Okay. And on that note,
I think if I
Andy,
did, I'd probably produce a video of some kind that I could put onto YouTube so people could follow along and paint if I did have any ideas.
So say you did, for example, would it be something like this one that we're just going to show? Do you think?
Could be.
That's obviously a logo.
That looks like some kind of brush monkey.
Should we play it and see what it does?
Let's see what happens. Might be porn.
Hi and welcome to a Brush Monkeys paint tutorial for Gale Force 9's Aliens, another glorious day in the Corps. Today we'll be painting the Xenomorphs. So first up, Model Air, light grey-green, 71.044. After putting the models together, I've primed them black using Army Painter matte black spray. I'm putting this through the airbrush just because it's quicker and easier than having to paint it on with a standard hairy brush. But obviously you can get the same results using a hairy brush. This was just for speed's sake more than anything. So using the airbrush, just make sure I get a good coat down all over the model. Don't have to be too controlled with this. We can clean up any mistakes or any overspray later on. Also, don't want to go too heavy because we can add a second coat, which I'm about to do now. This will give you a nice consistency. Don't try going too thick in one go. Nice thin coats, a couple of those, and you get some good coverage. Next up is a liberal coat of Citadel Contrast Black Templar. This you can slap all over the model, covering the entire thing. Again, don't worry about any overspill. We can go back later on and fix that.
That's my kind of paint. This is a really good tutorial, by the way, Andy, because I would have just had them black and they would have looked crap.
To be honest, you can skip 2 of the steps and just go straight in with the dry brush if you want to.
It's nice to take that extra couple of steps, so to give them an extra pop, because they are kind of the stars of the game.
They are the stars of the game.
And they are such nice sculpts. They do look lovely when they're finished.
Also, I think as well, you can actually, you've got a choice of sort of head and arms and stuff, so you can make them slightly different.
Yeah, the 2 halves of the body and the spine and head are all 1 piece each, but they have to go specifically together.
Right.
But then you can chop and change any arms and any tail.
Oh, wow.
So you do get a bit of variety. And obviously there are 4 different sculpts, 2 of each. So you get 8 different heads, 4 sculpts. So you've got lots of variety. There is loads and loads of variety in that box.
I think it helps the painting process when each model's different. You don't feel like you're repeating yourself.
A dry brush of German Field Grey of Vallejo model colour 70830.
Nice to see Vallejo getting some love.
You want to put on a very light.
Vallejo is the way forward for all paints.
I'm a Vallejo man myself.
Get some paint on your brush. Wipe off the excess onto a paper towel.
We're dry brushing.
We are very, very gently brush over the top of the entire model.
Wow.
Watch how many times the tails ping off. There's about 9 takes of this with me going, and I'll pick up another one because that tail's gone.
That is looking badass.
I love a good dry brush.
Surely it's completed now.
See now the difference between one that is just
wow.
got the
that pops,
contrast
doesn't it?
on it, and one that's been dry brushed.
We will put the link to this video
Next up is Abaddon
at
Black
the end of this video,
for
guys.
the eye section of the alien. Little front piece of the dome that we assume aliens see through. Nice fine brush and a bit of control.
I like the technique of putting your little finger on it so to keep your hand steady. Is that like a?
To be honest, it's one of those things. Yeah, it's just something to keep your hand steady.
Yeah,
it is. Whether it's a finger or sometimes a lot of people would put them on cork or on the top of another paint pot just to make it easier to hold. I just like holding onto the bases. It just gives me more control with it.
No Belcher. We're going to use this to do all of the teeth on the Xenomorph.
Teeth.
Yeah, they've got
teeth.
Holy hell! I can't even see the head, let alone the teeth. Oh my god! Wow! How thin is that brush? Is that we're talking brushes after this?
Now that the Abaddon Black on the dome is completely dry.
Yeah, I have a sneaky tip for brushes.
Varnish.
Please, any tips? Any? Oh, what's that then? Varnish.
So that's a satin varnish.
Oh, to get it shiny on the.
Yeah, so it's you can obviously do gloss and matte and satins. Satin's quite a nice one for this, so it's not really shiny, but it's got a bit of a glisten to it.
Iron Warriors. We're going to add this to the base. So this is where we can make sure any overspill or overspray from the earlier steps can be covered up. With this, I'm not trying.
So just a quick stop on that. So this is going to be my question. Now, this is quite good on this channel because me being a novice to this, I love the games, but my painting is horrifically bad, and I'm new to this whole game. My first question would be: do I try and paint the bases first because the model's in the way, and then or do I do it this way, or what do you reckon, guys?
A simple base like that, I would do it last because it's just one or two colors to go on it. There's some of my more intricate models. They've got things like skulls or branches and stuff on the base, so I'll try and get them blocked in first and maybe touch up after. But a base like that, where you probably be dry brush and just do that last.
So just dry brush, yeah. So
it's very hard to go wrong on a simple base like that. So get the model done first and then do that bit last.
Well, if you think it's hard to go wrong, you have not seen my painting.
Well, just keep at it and you'll get better. Everyone gets better.
I am getting better, but I started at a very low point, put it that way. So
we all start from the beginning.
After this video, I will possibly do my own video, my competitive video on YouTube of the 500 things not to do while trying to paint an alien figure.
I think you should do it in the style of Bob Ross. You should wear a little afro wig, a little perm wig. We're going to do a fantastic little miniature today.
Yeah,
we're going to get a big old 4-inch brush.
Loads of happy birds. Okay, let's carry on. This is very good. So with this one, stick it on, spray the lot. Do the alien first, and then go on to the base.
I had planned to do the bases separately, but the aliens, only the aliens, the human characters don't have it. The aliens, their feet are actually molded into the bases.
Oh, okay.
So there was no point in doing it separately. It's like, well, I might as well just glue it all together and then just paint it.
I am liking your call. So let's carry on. So
trying to paint the entire base, so I'm not trying to get paint inside all the little holes on the grating. I'm just pushing the paint around on the surface so it gives it a nice metallic finish. Just be careful not to get paint onto the feet of the model.
Is that silver paint then you're dry brushing
around the base?
Yeah, it's Iron Warrior, so it's the dark metallic that GW.
Iron Warrior. Is that also available from Worcester War Games?
It is. We carry the full set at our range. We also try and carry the full Vallejo range, but at the moment stock is very limited due to Brexit.
Yeah. Wow, that looks awesome. I love the... And that goes really well with the cards. You know, the actual print of the...
I've seen a few people do them with lighting effects and all sorts on there, so they try and match the bases on the flooring on the cardboard.
You could do a hazard slide if you wanted.
We're going to put this across the whole of the base or the grating. That'll sit in the recesses and dull the whole thing down.
Wow.
It'll also take the metallic sheen off all the surface.
That looks amazing.
A nice, dull, used look.
Something I'm liking about the bases is they're detailed bases, so you don't have to think afterwards, I've got to do something with this base. You don't have to apply texture paints or anything like that.
It's got to make your own.
It's got its own thing, which is good.
The edge of the base, there's a nice trim that goes around the top edge of the base, which really sets the model off.
Yeah.
This will just clean it up and give it a nice finish on the tabletop. You do need to be careful with this stage, just to make sure you don't get any black on the grating of the base, just around the lip, around the outside.
And you're doing the sides as well?
Yeah.
This is where a painting handle does come in handy.
One of those things?
One of those.
One of those.
Or a bit of cork and a bit of blue tack comes into it, because if you're doing around the edges of the base, you can't really use a paint handle for that because it covers it. But if you have a bit of cork,
well, we'll talk after this, Pat. If you just wait for the video, we've only got a little bit left.
I'm talking during the movie.
Wow.
And there we have it.
Ooh.
Our own alien brood. 16 xenomorphs. Took about an hour to paint all of them, not including drying times, of course. Just make sure with all these steps that you do let the paint thoroughly dry. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. This has been the Brush Monkey.
Yay, well done, Brush Monkey.
I don't know who he is, but he sounds handsome.
He sounds handsome. Let's just leave it on sound. So that is amazing. So a brush handle. So back to Pat and Skelly and Andy.
Yeah.
So this is a, I don't know, Citadel one, is it?
Yes. Handle.
Citadel one.
They do two sizes.
Okay. What are they? How much? And what would you recommend, guys?
I think they retail for about tenner, don't they? And a lot of people don't recommend it because you can just as easily get a bit of cork or anything and a bit of blue tack. So it depends if you're a DIY kind of person or if you like the prestige or something molded to your hand.
Yeah, it was a weird one. When they first came out, we were kind of puzzled by it, thinking nobody's going to buy these because, okay, they're not massively expensive. I think they're about £6.50, in fact.
Yeah.
We thought, oh, who's going to want a load of these? And then all the painting, like the professional painters were buying 10, 12 of them at a time. And we're like, oh, why aren't you just using a paint pot with blue tack on it? But
I must admit,
everyone went mad for them.
I like it. I like this. I've tried the old blue tacky bit, but if you don't get it right, it flies off.
They're a good secure fit.
Yeah, and they really are. Also, why is that magnets on the end? What's that all about? It's kind of metal
I don't
bits.
know, to be honest.
I think that's just for the spring-loaded mechanism.
I think it's
inside,
the mechanism inside.
And it does multiple sizes due to the.
And you can get a larger size of them for monster bases, but for anything that big, it's rare enough that I have a model like that. Just hold the damn thing.
I am new to painting, but I recommend that. I found that really useful.
I will say a couple of things about them. One, they're not great for metal models. We tried one of the big ones with, I think, a 50mm like Minotaur base or something on it with a big metal model on it, and it just wouldn't hold on to it strong enough. The model just kept falling off. But obviously, they're not designed for metal models. They're designed for plastics and resins, which most companies have gone across to. The other thing is they've just released a new version of it, which is much more slender, a much thinner one, and it's nowhere near as comfortable to hold.
Oh, right.
So they've kind of made a much smaller version of it, and it's not as good as the old one.
So a top tip from Pete, don't drink the mug containing your painting water. Good tip there, Pete. Very good tip.
Happen.
It can happen.
If you have a brew on the table at the same time.
Yeah,
definitely. Guys, if you please can subscribe and like the video on YouTube, it all helps pushing us up the ranks so we can take over the world. Here's a question from Doug. Are the molded plastic components clean before priming? Do you have to get your little knife out and what did you find?
To be honest, there's not really any mold lines on them. You will find that where you clip them off the sprue, because they're hard plastic, you'll always get a little bit of the sprue left on there. So you will need to go back in with a hobby knife and just clean off those little tiny kind of flecks of plastic where you've clipped it. But they're not too bad. You just have to be a bit careful on the aliens' arms. I did find a few of those had quite large pieces on them. When trying to clean those off, you want to make sure you don't dig in by accident with your blade because the wrists are quite slim.
Oh, right.
But otherwise, they're really nice. They are really, really good.
In the video, you were using a airbrush.
I was.
You were. Now, for me, being a novice, I'm into spray cans, as you know, because I do buy rather a lot of spray cans.
You do.
I do. Mainly for spraying my buggy and making 8-foot flamethrowers, because that's more my size and scale. Airbrushes. Skelly, have you ever used an airbrush?
No, I haven't got anywhere in my home where I can use one. Just limited space.
So, Andy, a quick question to you, sir. What is good for the beginner airbrush-wise? Or should we keep away from it and just use the cans to start off with?
It's a difficult one. Airbrushes have really kind of gained ground in the last few years. The amount of people using them now is massive. And there's a huge range and there's a huge market. It is a very difficult one, though. Because it's such a huge market, there are a lot of substandard quality brushes and compressors and stuff on the market. At the same time, there are a lot of really high quality ones as well. So it's a bit of a minefield as to exactly what you should get. Best thing you can do is, if you are thinking of buying one, speak to people that have got them. So if you have a local hobby shop, for example, Worcester War Games, come down, have a chat with us first. There's loads of us that have got them. We can point you in the right direction of what to get, what to be looking at. And then check reviews as well. You go on, like, if you're buying it from Amazon or whatever, check all the reviews, all the people that have tried it out. They can give you a lot more advice as well. There are two schools of thought when it comes to airbrushes. Some people say buy expensive. Get a really expensive airbrush to start with, because that way, if you like it, you've got a really good place to start with.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, you can sell it on afterwards and you get most of your money back for it. I always say buy cheap, just for the fact if you're going to learn with something you don't mind, that you go, oh, I've just dropped that on the floor, bent the needle.
Yeah.
I've just lost 15 quid. As opposed to I just dropped on the floor and bent the needle. There's 200 quid up the spout.
Yeah.
So buy cheap, use that, learn the trade, then go out and buy something more expensive. Then you can start looking at what you want and what you're going to need it for.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I recommend. We tend not to do too much in the way of airbrushes because, again, big market out there of lots of dodgy, kind of compressing, dodgy airbrushes. But we are quite happy to recommend to people which ones to get. And if you do want any help or advice, we sell all the bits and the components and all the other bits and pieces for it. But we're always happy just to give you the advice if that's what you want, and then send you away to go and buy it wherever you need to get it from.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Here's a question from Tony. Do you put together like a set for paints? Is there like a set you would recommend, or you could put together as like a beginner's guide for like Blood Bowl or for Aliens?
It's a difficult one. A lot of companies do sets. Vallejo did do sets. I think Army Painter do sets. Most companies do sets. The only thing we always kind of find with the sets is you end up paying almost as much as if you're buying the paints individually, and you end up getting 2 or 3 colors you're never going to use. Yeah. So you've kind of spent another 7 or 8 quid on paints you don't want. We don't really do. We do a few of the Scale 75 sets, but they're professional paints for professional artists, so I don't even touch those. So they're that good. But we found that if people come in and go, "Oh, yeah, I want to paint the Aliens box set," rather than going, "Oh, here's a set of stuff," you go, "Right, how do you want to paint it?" And then you just pick up the paint you want then. So you're only buying colors you're going to actually need and use. Otherwise, you're just buying stuff for the sake of it.
Awesome. Would it be possible for next week? Could you do a tutorial on the Marines? Because that was amazing on the Aliens. I'm going to have a go using your tutorial this weekend, and we'll have a look and see how it went next week.
Yes.
But the Marines, I have no idea. I have no idea how to.
Yeah, I've been looking at the Marines this week. I spent 3 days debating on how to paint the Aliens, and I've been looking at the Marines, and watching guides, and looking at like prop sites and all sorts of trying to work out exactly how the stuff's painted or how the stuff's designed in the movie, so I can do a replication on the models. But yes, it scares me a little bit because that's a lot of camo.
So I think what I've done is, well, they've obviously worked out Gale Force 9 that I'm not the world's best painter. So just to get me in the swing of my Aliens, I'm going to try a 1/9 scale alien first, which is about the size of an Action Man. Yeah. And I'm going to hone my skills on this and then pretend it's that size. And you'll be like, bloody hell, look at the detail on that. Look at the teeth.
I will say I've done about 6 or 7 of those set. I love that old Alien set. There was that one. There was the Alien 3 running along. Yeah, they are really hard to paint comparative to what we do at 28mm. That is so much more difficult.
That's not. I don't want to hear that, Andy.
Because you'll see a lot more bits at that scale. You'll see bits you never knew the Alien had.
Skelly, this is not helping. I thought this was going to be easier.
No, far more difficult.
Challenge yourself.
Oh, for God's sake, guys! Well, that's built my confidence up no end. So thank you very much for that. So far, marks out of 10 for this. Skelly, you've not seen it yet, but would you buy this? Is this something that rings your bell?
Definitely, it looks fun, and it's a self-contained game, so what's not to like?
The whole thing's in it.
I believe it has a 1-player mode as well. I think you can actually play it on your own, so you don't even need to get friends.
Lockdown friendly.
Or even
post-lockdown for someone like me.
So, guys, on the stream, all the people watching, if you could post your marks out of 10 for this. For me, I've not had a go at playing it yet, but just the actual box and all the stuff in it and the quality, I would say a 10 out of 10. I am blown away with this. Andy, what do you think, sir?
Do I have to stop at 10? It's just so good. Obviously, again, I've not played it yet, so I might play it and go, this is too awful. But by all accounts, it isn't. It's a phenomenal game. But even just without it being a game, it's amazing. I don't care whether I play it or not. I want to paint the models. I want them on my shelf, and I just think it's awesome.
My God, is there? I've heard rumours that they are bringing out an APC, or there's something like that. Do you have any information?
No, to be honest. Okay. From what we've heard, rumor mill has it that the APC is scaled for a mission, but not scaled for the game. So it's going to be the wrong scale for the models.
Oh, right.
However, there is an STL file for 3D printers out there that everyone's been sharing around on all the websites and on all the Facebook pages and stuff that is proper scale for the miniatures. And you can obviously you don't use it in game, but it looks great just standing behind them. The top comes off and it's got all the detail on the inside as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
I think they cost about 40 quid to get 3D printed. So if you know somebody with a printer, grab the file and send it to them.
We will, if we can find the file, we could maybe post that up somewhere in one of the links or whatever, or we can have a go. We have a Mr. Tony Broad, who's our 3D printer. So we'll have to maybe get him to have a go at printing one. Just a quick one on 3D printing. Some of the 3D printing equipment now is amazing. Some of the resin stuff is ridiculously good, isn't it?
It is.
It is. It is. Have you, Andy or Scully, have you ever delved or thought about going into that whole 3D printing world?
Not myself. I saw an interesting video the other day, someone discussing how it could be a sideline for someone working with Games Workshop to do out-of-print models, because there's a huge range of old models that's still demand for, which people can't get hold of. And it was that was discussed amongst other things on the video. That's the last time I've touched that subject.
Oh, wow.
To be honest, I know so many people with 3D printers. We our very briefly in the shop whether we should get them for the shop. We went, you know what, if we want for a 3D printer, we know enough people, we can just go, can you print that for us? And here's a couple of quid. So we've kind of. I'm a bit of a technophobe as well. I'm amazed I can even get onto a podcast, to be honest, without the entire house burning down. I'd have no clue what I was doing with it. So yeah, we've kind of avoided it like the plague. But yeah, we know enough people that can print us.
I think it's a hobby in itself. I think if it's as you said, it's better to go to your mates who love this, because they're going to have all the stuff and
a good friend of ours did little note. Get that bit
let me zoom in.
There we go.
Is that a Moomin?
That's
a Moomin.
Hey!
Wow.
So yeah, using an over body, replaced his little belly plate with a little green stuff fat belly, and a friend of ours 3D printed all the Moomin heads. So he did about 100 Moomin heads for us. So yeah,
that is cool.
It is an army project that will be coming out at some point. That's the only one I've completed so far. But yeah,
they're the Moomins.
It is amazing stuff. It really is.
That is awesome. So that is the first part of the show, guys. That is Aliens. So loads of love on the channel for that. Everybody in the chat room are massive fans of it. So I think that is a go. That is a win. So very excited about that. As I said, we will hopefully do a follow-up next week. Now on to the next pit. The next part of the show, my all-time favourite game. This is what got me into Games Workshop. This is the first game I ever got. I'm not sure what version of Blood Bowl this is.
Second edition
with the foam. With the foam. So what is Blood Bowl first, Andy?
It's an astrographic pitch made of styrene.
What? First of all, Andy, what is Blood Bowl? Just for the people out there.
Blood Bowl is the end of wars, essentially. It's a sports game. It's American football with chainsaws and bazookas. It's mayhem incarnate. It's the most infuriating game on the planet.
It's the realm of Nuffles.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Nuffle rules.
It is absolutely. So, Skelly, are you? When did you first hear of Blood Bowl, and do you play it?
Well, it was always on my radar because I grew up with Warhammer and the related games. It was always on my radar. I kind of wanted it, but I also kind of wanted Manowar back then. I never got either of them back then. I saw they'd relaunched.
Isn't Manowar a metal band?
It's also a metal band, but it was also an obscure Games Workshop game back in the day where you had tiny ships. So they had all sorts of satellite games, but I was primarily Warhammer Fantasy. But I saw last year they'd relaunched it, and I thought, you know what, it's a self-contained game. You don't have to bother with terrain or anything like that. You can have a number of teams. I thought it's right up my alley, so I'll get in on that. So I got myself a copy of Blood Bowl earlier, middle of last year.
So, Andy, you being the authority on everything cool, so what is the new version of Blood Bowl, and when did it come out, and what is it?
So Blood Bowl 2020, it's called, essentially Blood Bowl 3, Blood Bowl, whatever you want to call it, came out I think about in October time last year. Big build up for it, really looking forward to it because everyone loves Blood Bowl. What's not to love? Had a renaissance a couple of years ago when they re-released it for the 3rd edition or 4th edition, whatever they were on at that point. But yeah, basically all they've done is they've kept it all as it was before. They've just tweaked a few of the rules in the new box set. Anyone that's played the PC version or they played the console version, you now know how to play Blood Bowl. Simple as that. You can get it out of that box and you can just play it straight on the tabletop. You know the rules. The only slight difference is you have to work out the dice for yourself of how many block dice you get for tackling. But yeah, the new box set, 2 brand new teams in there. Humans and Black Orcs. You've got star players, you've got big guys, you've got refs, you've got the pitch, you've got dugouts, everything. It's silly cheap. We all saw that coming and went, oh yeah, it's going to be like 120, 150 quid. And it came out and it was like 85 quid. And we're like, that is insane. They've got it wrong. They've clearly got it wrong somewhere. But no, 85 quid, and it's an absolute steal.
I must admit, I got mine from you for Christmas for myself, and the box is just jam full of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they had a bit of an issue, I think, on release for getting people copies of it. I know a lot of independents were contacting, we're whinging on Facebook to start with, and rightly so. But we had a lot of contact from people because we had loads of copies of it coming, and places weren't getting any at all, or they're getting 1s and 2s. For some reason, GW did a very limited release for it.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of places I know had to go without, and a few people couldn't get hold of it and stuff. But as ever, Worcester Wargames ends up with a surplus of it, and best kept secret in wargaming. We always end up with like old stock of stuff that nobody else has got that we can't get rid of because nobody seems to want it.
I must admit, so this is Blood Bowl. Which version is this one?
Which one? The one you got there is second.
Yeah,
yeah.
So the second edition one. So this is a blast from the past.
It is
lovely artwork. Etc. The rules, as I said, the Astro Granite pitch, amazing. I've got some of the. Look at that!
Yeah,
Wow.
Look at that! Wow, it is awesome. Do not eat, guys. It's not edible. That is okay. I did say earlier before we started this stream, guys, I was gonna show you something in this box, which is the coolest thing ever. Are you ready?
I thought you meant your alien model.
Well, it's even better than that. Are you ready for the ultimate and cool? Now, for me, I love Blood Bowl. It's one of the best games ever. As I said, this is one of my first ever box games. Had it for years, got the new version, got a ton of figures. We'll go through all that in a bit. But are you ready? My favourite version of Blood Bowl, and this is where I'm pointing the finger because I'm that excited. My all-time favourite, which is in tune with my mental state, Dungeon Bowl.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I love Dungeon Bowl.
I love Dungeon Bowl. This is Andy. First of all, Skelly, have you ever seen Dungeon Bowl? Have you even heard of this mystical beast?
I might well have in the past because I did inherit a huge stack of white dwarves back in the from way back in the early days. So there's all sorts bashing around.
So I've got the box upstairs. So it was like a separate game, and you've got the elves and the dwarfs. So, Andy, can you just explain to our adoring crowd what the hell is Dungeon Bowl and why is it the best thing ever?
Dungeon Bowl was an expansion-esque or an offshoot of Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl has a rich history within canon of what it does and how it came about and what happens and stuff. And part of it was that 4 colleges of magic select their favourite team for the last season to play Blood Bowl to represent them. And essentially, instead of playing just Blood Bowl, they're played in a dungeon beneath the colleges of magic or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different game to Blood Bowl, to be honest, other than it's got a ball and a bunch of lunatics running around trying to score. But yeah, you're bouncing the ball off the walls. You have to teleport in using magic initially, and you can end up anywhere in this maze.
It's amazing, isn't
and
it?
There are exploding chests and booby traps and all this mental stuff going on.
It's Blood Bowl on steroids. So there's there's treasure chests. So the ball you've got to open the treasure chest to try and find. Yeah.
So I think there are 6 chests around the dungeon, and 5 of them are explosives, and one of them's just the ball.
So you could lose. So the ball isn't there; it's in one of these chests. So first of all, you teleport in. You've got to then try and run around to one of these chests to try and open it. It may explode. 5 of them explode. Only one of them's got a ball in. There's trampolines. You can teleport around everywhere else. You can throw the ball at each other. Yeah, it's a spiky ball.
Yeah,
you can kill your opponents by throwing the ball at them. It's hysterical. I love that game. That is my.
I think the only thing I ever preferred to Dungeon Bowl was they did some experimental rules in the old Blood Bowl compendiums that they used to do like every quarter or something. It was, and they brought out a new book with loads of. A lot of it was just stuff from White Dwarf that they just put into one box or into one book. And they did rules for playing on board a ship. And you had to roll at the start of every turn to see which way the ship tilted.
That is awesome.
And things like loose cannonballs or the cannons themselves would roll across the deck. You could fall overboard,
that's brilliant.
Climb into the rigging and all sorts of mad stuff. And it's like, this is, again, it's just Blood Bowl, but more insane.
I'm liking the idea of that. So over to you, Skelly. A quick question on you. So for your Blood Bowl, what are your teams, and have you bought any additional sets of teams? What are you rocking?
Okay, well, I got myself the previous edition to the 2020. I think it's the 2016 edition. So I've got the standard humans and orcs. I've bought big guys for each of them. So I've got the ogre and the troll. And in addition, I've got the Nagaroth nightmares for some dark elves. And I've got the Fire Mountain gutbusters for Christmas. So that's a lot of ogres. And I told myself that's a lot of stuff on the backlog to paint. So no more teams. But I really want to get I really want to get the Lizard Man team. The guacamole creator gators.
I have, just before we go to Andy, because Andy's got a lot. I've actually bought all this stuff from Andy, so I blame you, Andy, for getting me into all of this. The Nurgles, I have got a Nurgle team called Contamination, and these are awesome, actually. Well, these are the first go I had at these new versions, because I had like some of the old metal ones, and painting them and building them has just been brilliant. They are so they're like what the hell's a Nurgle, by the way? It's like
Nurgle's one of the chaos gods. There's a chaos god of corruption and pestilence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they're chaos worshippers of Nurgle. That's why all their guts are spilling out and they've got pustules.
I love them. But seriously, great fun to paint. I wowed Andy with my colour scheme when I first bought this, and I said, I'm going to paint them like rollerball. And he went, I wouldn't do that. And I had a go, and it was a really bad idea, and I sprayed over the top of them and had another go. And they look a lot better now. So I will bring some photos on next week's show. This I had also for Christmas from the Epic Worcester War Games. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, are these good?
Yeah, the Necromantic team was probably one of the most anticipated teams to come out.
Holy hell.
Yeah, they are such lovely models. They're so much fun.
I haven't even got this out of the box yet. So first of all, guys, me being a newbie to all this, well, not to the game, but to actually trying to paint, how the hell do you do stripes? That scares me.
There's tutorials. Just steady your hand and just do a stripe. You won't do a stripe till you try and do a stripe. And here's the thing, if you balls it up, you can neaten up the edges after.
Yeah,
I balls it all the time and then I neaten up.
Okay, here's another question then, right? Because this is my oh my God, they got stripes. This is like purple and orange. Do I do the purple ones first and then the orange on the top, or
I'd do the orange first?
Yeah,
over a lighter base coat. Just do a stronger, lighter base coat, because some
oranges I paint them like all orange first and then try and put black on.
Yeah,
because it's the darker color, so it'll go over much easier. But with orange, some oranges don't get good coverage, so you might want to do the Citadel range has a decent coverage actually with some of its oranges. But just sometimes a lighter kind of tan base coat can work better if you've depends what you undercoat with. But there's loads and loads of tutorials for stripes and various bits like that.
So question to you both: what kind? Well, first of all, over to Andy. What kind of paints would you recommend for if you're new to sort of Blood Bowl? What the kind of thing, so a spray can of something to undercoat it?
Yeah.
And then
if you're looking at like doing an orange for any part of it, you're going to want a very light color. So you go with something like uniform gray, leather brown, or like skeleton bones type color, because the orange will take much better to that.
Right. Got you.
So yeah, and there's like Skelly was saying, there's a lot of different things you can do with oranges, but orange and yellow are two of the most difficult ones to paint with because they just don't cover very well. The pigment on it is so large that it just doesn't get very good coverage. So yeah, start with a nice light color. Citadel oranges aren't too bad, actually. There's some of the better ones on the market for coverage, but start with something slightly darker as a base coat for it, and then highlight with an orange.
Right. The one thing, do you water down your paints?
Yes. Yes,
because is that with Citadel? So Citadel, you water all paint. Army painter, and this is again from me this is quite good having me on the show being a novice. I found that because it's like the Army painter ones, you have to really shake them, but they don't really. It's hard to get them to come out like paint. They sort of like you get like glue.
You might want to get some little ball bearings and put them inside your pots to help mix them.
Yeah,
you can buy mixing balls for stupid money, or you can see if you have ball bearings lying around, if they're clean, pop them in your pot. They'll help mix.
Be very wary when it comes to agitators, so mixing balls and stuff. We do some in the shop that we get from Green Stuff World. there are a lot of very cheap ones on the market which you have to avoid because they'll say they're stainless steel and they aren't. You'll put them inside your pots and they'll rust within a couple of weeks, and you'll start just getting orangey bits in your paints and it'll just wreck your paints. There are horror stories all over the Facebook painting groups of people buying them. Most people now recommend either getting like heavy plastic ones or like acrylics, or getting glass ones because they won't rust. Alternatively, if you do know somewhere reputable you can get them from that can go, yes, we know these are definitely stainless steel. You'll pay more for them, but at least they're not going to knacker your paints up.
Got it. A quick question back to you guys. Why does Army Painter not stick one already in there? Because me being a novice, I've had a bloody nightmare with that paint.
That's a good question. I've no idea.
Possibly production costs.
Yeah.
And not all paints need them. Like out of my Vallejo boxes, there's maybe 4 or 5 I've had to put agitators in, but the rest just shake them and they just come out fine. It's all the look of the draw. Because
I found
sometimes
Citadel, because Citadel seems to be a lot more thicker.
They tend to be a lot thicker as a paint, so it's just brands, and
okay.
Within a brand, certain colours can vary. Because in Vallejo, I find one of my purples comes out like a wash, no matter how much you shake it and mix it. Whereas other ones are a lot thicker, and they do actually do a super thick, or is it a heavy range, which is
heavy opaques,
heavy opaques, yeah.
Okay, then guys, I'm gonna throw something into the mix. Right, ready for discussion. Wet palette. What the hell is a wet palette? First of all, Andy, what the hell is a wet palette? Do I need one? Can I eat it?
Wet palette is a must. That's what a wet palette is. It's a must.
Okay.
No, to be honest, wet palettes are really good. They are good for what they do. Essentially, it's just a way of keeping your paints wet. So wet palette. So if you're mixing up paints and stuff like that and colours, you do it on your wet palette, and then you can come back to it 3 weeks' time, and it'll still be usable.
Okay.
There's the Army Painter one, which you've got there, which we do in store. Red Grass do an everlasting wet palette, which, to be fair, after about 8 months, I found mine at the bottom of a pile of other stuff, and the paint was still wet in it, so it lasted pretty well.
Here's mine.
There we go. Certainly, you make your own. You order yourself a Chinese takeaway. You go to the pound shop, and for £3, you've got a wet palette. They are really, really good. However, you can just use something as simple. Personally, I've got like 3 or 4 wet palettes here, and I don't use any of them because they're flat, and I end up putting them down and putting stuff on top of them, and then I can't get to them. I use a tile. Simple as that. Just an old tile, old ceramic tile, because it's got a nice shiny surface on it. The paint doesn't soak in. Okay, it's not a wet palette, so it doesn't keep any moisture in your paints, but it also doesn't stop them from drying out. So, yeah, you can do that just as a mixing palette. Just as good.
That's a good little tip. So Patrick, on yours. So on yours, so you've made yours out of a Tupperware thing. What have you put? What is the paper?
No, that's good. Find anything flatter. So
what have you put inside it then?
It's parchment paper, but not the baking type. I ordered it in because I hear that the baking type actually has a bit of wax on it because it's intended for baking, so it's not porous at all. But if you look up on anywhere on the internet, parchment paper, it's basically like very thin, almost tracing paper, and it's porous, so it will pull the water up through it. If you put baking paper in, it's got a wax layer, so it will stop the moisture going up through it, and then beneath it I've got a cellulose sponge. Some people use kitchen paper, but I think that's a bit too brittle or too thin and piddly, so I use
I must admit, on my Army Painter, I haven't really got it out of the box yet because I don't quite know what I'm doing, but everything's in there, and for somebody new, it's a one-stop shop. It holds my brushes. It's really well made. It's actually really, really good bit of kit. So I think if you are new and you haven't got a clue of what paper, what foam, and because there's a ton of refills, there's 2 hydro foams and 50 hydro sheets, and I've had a quick little play, and it is actually really good bit of kit. Which one would you recommend, Andy, if somebody was new to it and they wanted to not try and make one, just buy one?
Like I said, that one's great. It's reasonably priced. And we do it, so definitely recommend that one. It's the one thing I will say is GW do a I think it's called paint paper or something. They do palette pad. Palette pad, that's what it's called. Yeah, it's a completely different thing. They kind of tried to sell it as a wet pad, and it's not. All it is essentially it's a tile, like I was showing. It's just shiny paper that the paint doesn't absorb into. The Army Painter one's really good. The Army Painter wet palette's really good. Alternately, Red Grass, as I said, they do a really nice one as well. They're much of a muchness, so either of them's pretty good.
Awesome. So a quick question back over to Andy. So what Blood Bowl teams do you have? And I got that one as well. I've got a load actually.
Well, I'd say what Blood Bowl team don't I have?
Oh,
Blood Bowl has always been my jam. Again, like very much like yourself, Blood Bowl got me into it many, many years ago. That was always my go-to game. It got me back into it after I'd had kind of time away from the hobby. Blood Bowl drove me back in again. It's always been my thing. So every time Blood Bowl comes out, I have one of everything. Simple as that. One set of dice, one set of cards, one set of the team, the whole shebang.
What is your favourite new team out there?
Halflings. Always go back to the halflings. I love the halflings. I liked all the old halflings. The new ones are just so characterful, with a little squirrel sat on his head and stuff. So yeah, halflings all day long. I like smashy teams, so it's got to be halflings.
Is that how you play? So Smelly, what kind of teams do you play for? I play the Xbox version, and I've also got a tablet version. And the bloody thing cheats with the dice roll. It cheats.
That's Knuffles at work. Don't be disparaging Knuffles.
Yeah. Yeah, it literally says in the inside. I think we discussed this last week briefly.
Yeah.
It literally says inside the front cover, this game cheats. So if you didn't read that, it's your own fault.
It is good though. I do love it. So I've tried loads of different teams, and I'm more of a smashy team. I think it's just the way my brain works. I like to try and beat up and kill the opponent.
Yeah, halflings for you then. Definitely want to play halflings.
Oh, right. I would have thought a halfling wouldn't have been that much of a smashy team. Seeing that
they have got a tree man.
They have got a tree man, but the rest of them are quite.
no tree men. 16 halflings, 12 rerolls, all the stuff you can get gold.
It's a pity they can't bring the hot pot catapult from Warhammer Fantasy, because that was the whole reason I brought a regiment of halflings, so I could include a hot pot catapult.
Yeah, we have the halfling chef for Blood Bowl who can steal your opponent's rerolls. There's nothing funnier than going, I've now taken all 3 of your rerolls. I have 11 rerolls, so I can only use 8.5. The other 3 are just wasted. It's just watching your opponent look so disparaged, like I've got no rerolls at all, and you're wasting them.
Sneaky halflings.
Is there any plan for any new? Because they released the 2020 version. Or 2020 version of Blood Bowl with a few extra different teams. Is there any more planned for later this year, or are we going to have to wait like another 2 or 3 years again?
They normally tend to release one every quarter. So same with Necromunda. So any of their specialist range, so Necromunda, Blood Bowl, Warcry, whatever, they tend to try and release one per quarter, and you'll normally get at the start of the quarter, they'll go, right, here's what's coming out, and you'll get one of everything. A lot of people got very panicked when they saw the new edition of Blood Bowl, and they looked through the Spike omnibus to see all the teams in there, and there's no teams, that's it, they finish with it. And it's like, well, no, they won't put any new teams in the Spike omnibus until the new team comes out,
right?
Because a lot of people wouldn't need to buy the team. You just go, oh, look, Amazons are coming, or Vampires are coming. So there will be teams this year. There are new teams every quarter. We just obviously don't know what they are yet.
Wow. Could there be a vampire team coming? Because
there's an Underworld warband for vampires, so...
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously, they used to do vampire team. They had a vampire team. They had Amazon team, Chaos Dwarfs. So, yeah, I can't see why they wouldn't revisit all the things they've already done, because they've got the license for them, so why not?
Awesome. I have another question here. So, what if you're brand new to painting figures? And a big shout out to Henry Cavill, Superman. He's a big fan of painting.
He loves it.
He paint also Tank, who plays Lord Humongous at our Wasteland Weekend festivals over in LA. He is a big Games Workshop fan. That we are all over the world. Everybody's chilling out during the lockdown and actually painting, which I find really relaxing. I actually really love it. Not very good at it, but I'm really enjoying it.
As long as you enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's the joy of painting.
Yeah.
So first of all, over to you, Andy. What brushes would you recommend for somebody new? What would you need if you're rocking up and saying, "Okay, I'm going to buy a box"? Well, first of all, let's talk glue.
Glue, plastic glue for plastics, obviously. Yeah, super glue will work just as well. The only difference being plastic glue essentially melts the parts that you stick together, so it bonds them completely. That's it. They're never coming apart. it's a lot less forgiving. So if you do make a mistake, you're kind of stuck with what you've got. Whereas at least super glue, you can snap them back apart because all it's doing is bonding super glue to super glue at that point.
Right.
But you will get a better bond with plastic glue. So
Plastic glue. And also, I've got some of that stuff to glue with like a little thin nozzle, and that makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, we have a lot of problems with that. When we sell that in the store, the Revel glue in the blue pots with the yellow tops on it.
Yeah.
We get up whenever anyone buys that. I always ask them, do they want children's plastic glue or do they want adults plastic glue? For the simple fact, I get a lot of customers coming back, or we have done in the past. I've had a lot of that glue you sold me was crap. It blocked up almost immediately, and I couldn't get it clean in the little tiny needle. What you have to do is you don't even have to do that. You can take the needle out, get a lighter or some kind of heat source, fizz it under one end, you get a little flame come out, flip it round under the other end, and it cleans the thing out.
I want to do that now.
That is a great tip. There you go, guys. That is tip of the week.
Alternately, the other option is to get a pin and just stick a pin down the end of it.
Yeah, that's not as fun.
It's not as fun. I tried the pin one. That's
not a flamethrower, is it?
No, exactly. I will say, just as an aside to that, please, if you are going to do that, take the needle out of the glue before you set fire to it.
That's not as fun.
We're not making Molotovs here. Just
oh god, yeah, the whole thing would blow up. Yeah, please.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so please just take the little metal needle out first before you put the flame to it.
That is a good tip though, because I must admit that whole trying to do it when you first, when you're new to it and you get a super glue thing and it goes all over the place and it's hard to direct it. With that little nozzle thing, it's a lot more cleaner, more direct, and you've got a hell of a lot more control. So
yeah. It's what, like I say, we recommend it to people over the other plastic glues we do, but just be aware that it will block up immediately and you will have to clear it like that.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So on to the next bit. So first of all, let's do Andy first, and then we'll go into Patrick, who's more of a seasoned painter. Brushes. What? I'm new. I rock in. I'm going to paint this bad boy. Obviously, you look at me, you think this guy's going to be epic. What the hell would I need? What's a good starter stuff?
For you, I'd recommend just carry on with your fingers.
Just crayons.
Yeah,
crayons.
Yeah. To be honest, there are two types of brushes. There are synthetic, and then there are essentially sable brushes or camel hair or whatever. Synthetics are okay, but they tend not to last very long. If you can, get Kolinsky sable brushes. We do those in store, and to be honest, it's the only brushes we really do other than dry brushes, just from the simple fact that they are really cost effective, but they are really good quality. As time goes by.
How much are they about? So I've always used really bad brushes until I met you and was to War Games, and I've got some Kolinsky brushes now. Look at me, bloody awesome, awesome. Seriously.
Yeah, it's the reason why that's the ones we do. That's all I ever use. You can get higher end brushes like the Winsor & Newtons or the Artist Opus brushes, and they are phenomenal. I was never sure about them. I was like, well, I don't want to spend £15 to £20 on a single brush because I do a lot of batch. Yeah. But if you're painting a single model for, I don't know, a competition or something, or it's just a hero piece, these brushes are amazing. They are worth every penny of £15 because they are really, really good. But for the most part, these Kolinsky sables that we do or something similar, there are a few other different ones on the market now that you can get. They're great because they will last. The synthetic ones don't tend to last very well. They tend to either start splitting or they'll start kind of hooking on the ends and stuff.
Yeah.
These sables are lovely.
So what kind of sizes would I need? So say I bought my box. I've got my box.
Yep.
What sort of 2 or 3 or 4 brushes would I need to
be honest, this is one thing,
a moderate job?
I get through. I talk about this a lot in the store with people, especially people coming in to ask about brushes and stuff. These Kolinsky sable ones we do range from a 5-0, so a really, really tiny fine brush, up to a size 5, which is a huge brush.
Yeah.
Personally, anything below a 0 is a waste of time. All you're buying is very, very short bristles when you get that. A lot of people look at them and go, oh, it's got tiny bristles on it, tiny little point. I can dot my eyes in that. Yeah. With a decent brush, you could get a size 5 brush or a size 3 brush because it goes back to a point because it's a high quality bristle. You can dot the eyes with that because at the end of the day, all you're doing is hitting it with the tip of that brush.
Yeah.
If you're buying these tiny, tiny brushes, all that's happening is you're getting very short bristles, so the paint is drying out on the brush before you're getting it to the model.
Yes.
So I do almost everything almost exclusively with a size 1. Simple as that, because it goes back to a point There we go.
Yeah.
Goes back to a point every time, so I can hit whatever I'm trying to do, but I've still got plenty of bristle there if I want to do coverage. The only other thing, mate, so size 0, size 1 for most jobs, a size 2 or a size 3 if you've got some base coating to do. So, for example, on that tutorial I did for the aliens, when I was sticking the contrast paint on, because I wanted to get it on there quickly and cover lots of space, I had a size 2 for that.
All right.
Other than that, you don't really need much else other than that. 2 brushes will normally do you. I normally keep 3 or 4 brushes in, just so if I'm halfway through a job and something does happen to the brush, I've got one to carry straight on with. But yeah, those mid-sized brushes are all you need, a couple of each.
Right. So, Skelly, what kind of brushes do you use, and what's your sort of recommendations from the way you paint?
Well, I agree with everything Andy says. All very good points.
That's
I've
good.
not actually made the jump from synthetic to sable as of yet, but I know the army painters do a good range of reasonably affordable brushes, and they do what's called a most wanted set, which is a really good starter set. You get what's called a regiment brush, which is a fairly wide-ish brush, which is good for base coating. You get a character brush, which is one of my go-to brushes. I have quite a few of them because they're really good for relayering and doing some highlights. And you also get an angled dry brush. So an issue with a lot of dry, an angled dry brush. So it's like got a chisel sort of angled tip. I think we're about to see one.
Okay, I'm going to ask it.
I think I've knackered it up this afternoon.
Okay.
Basically.
So you see, you got a shorter end effectively at the top. So if you're dry brushing, a lot of dry brushes, if it's just flat, then if you want to get into a smaller area, you'd have to either go for an entirely smaller size, or else you'd have to get some paint on the on the rest of the one. So
army painter one. That's the difference.
Yeah. So if you could use the shorter tip if you want to just dry brush. You got a little area when you get in there. And one of the best things I could probably recommend is you can buy probably a really cheap, just reusable brush that you don't want to worry about knackering. It's just in bulk off eBay or whatever, and you can use that for all your base coating and various other bits and pieces. You can be rough as hell with it, and if you have a really nice Winsor & Newton or the other type, use that for when you come to do your highlights and all your fine details. That'll last really long time, and you can just get through whatever for your base coating and just putting your layers on. Also, some people recommend actually, instead of using a regular dry brush, some people use an old makeup brush. Don't know what merits there are to it. I've never done it, but there's that. And also,
Andy's got one. He obviously he is a bit of a makeup
from the makeup tutorials.
Oh, very nice.
Another thing I want to talk a bit about is your brushes will last longer if you take care of them. So don't push it through the paint, only ever pull it through the paint. What you want to avoid doing is getting water or paint down into the ferrule, which is the metal bit which holds the bristles in place. Just before the handle, because if paint gets in there and it dries, it will cause the hairs to split. If water gets down
that
there,
makes sense.
You'll have a bad time. So always only ever drag it through the paint. Don't ever get paint any further down than halfway down the tip, because it doesn't need to go any further down. Just keep away from the ferrule. Store them inverted. So if there's any moisture on them, it will run out of them. Don't store them on the side or the right way up. And there's this stuff you can get. I should have got it before I came on. It's in the other room. But get this little. There's probably Andy's probably got one.
Your bondage room.
That's the stuff. Well, it's similar stuff. You get the master selection, the brush cleaner. So it's like
I was going to ask about this. So what the hell is this soapy stuff? What Andy?
It's brush cleaner.
Andy, over to you first, Andy. What is it? Can you eat it? Do you wear it in the summer? Or
don't eat it. It tastes horrible. Oh, Jesus! No, don't eat it. Definitely.
Hopefully non-toxic.
Hopefully non-toxic. So what is it? And how do you... Okay, so what is it and how do you use it? How much is it? What is it and how do you use it?
That one there is the Artist Opus. They sent me that one for free, just a little tester. So thank you, Artist Opus. Everyone buy their products; they're really good. Essentially, it's a soap. That's all it is. You work a lather up on your brush in the soap, just backwards and forwards, and it just cleans all the crap out of your brush. Simple as that. Obviously, normally when you're cleaning brushes out, you're just using water. Yeah. So that would get rid of old crusty paint and any little particulates that you're going to get stuck in between the bristles and stuff like that. That will take care of it as well.
So a quick question from, as I said, I'm pretty good at this being a novice because I can ask the real stupid questions. So if it's like a soap thing, do you put the water in that little pot to mix it in there?
No, just on your bristles. So dip your paint in your water and then just work that into it and it'll just bring up a nice lather on the soap. And then once you finish, take it out, rinse it back off, and you.
Rinse it back out because that was going to be my next question. Do I leave the soap on it and let it dry?
Yeah, you can do, and then clean it out. Yeah, You can clean it out before you use it next. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
there's no reason you have to clean it out immediately.
Wow.
It won't do any harm.
I like
This
to do it
is-
every so often, leave it on to condition it. Because just if it's working a bit hard and you think it's had a lot of use, leave it on till your next session.
I've really enjoyed tonight's show because I've learned so much stuff. So how much?
Do you?
I don't know any of this. How much is
don't
it?
remember
And what do I have to ask for next time? I mean, was the War Games or when I
know you
email
can't
you
eat it.
and I can't eat it? Well, we now know you can't eat it. Yeah. So what brand?
I just wouldn't recommend it. It tasted horrible.
Okay. So Andy? What brand? How much? And what is it called?
That is Artist Opus brush soap. It's £7 for a pot. I don't think I've actually got any in stock at the moment. I need to get some more Artist Opus stuff because I've ran out of all their stuff because it's so popular. But yeah, they do it. Broken Toe do some great brushes. They also do some great brush cleaner. A lot of the big boys do it now. All the professional painting studios have brands and stuff that they actually use. So yeah, just any kind of brush soap. Alternately, you can use, if I can find it. No, that's it. Airbrush cleaner.
Airbrush cleaner.
Airbrush cleaner. Decant a little bit of that, and you can clean your brush in that as well. You do have to clean it off immediately afterwards because it will eat the glue inside the bristle, so you have to be really careful with it. But yeah, you can actually. Some people started using that now to try and get a bit of life out of their old brushes if they're starting to kind of wilt a little bit.
I've heard of some people using hair products to fix hook tips as well.
Yeah,
I've never tried it myself.
Going on. Yeah, I've not tried it either. But yeah, I've heard people kind of saying, "Oh, you can use this, that, and the other." There are a lot of kind of homemade remedies for all sorts of stuff these days, whether it's cleaning brushes or thinning paints or all sorts. So yeah.
Wow. So another quick question back onto Blood Bowl. So this version has got the foamy tiles.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Dungeon Bowl. Oh, cardboard maps. Awesome this was. Seriously, they should re-release this, a new version. Games Workshop, if you're listening. Yeah.
Dungeon Bowl.
So what is the pitch look like in the new edition?
The new one's just a cardboard fold-out pitch. As much as it's a very generic pitch, you've got orcs on one side, humans on the other, so they're double-sided. They do tend to release pitches for each of the teams now that they come out. Again, you get specific team pitches for specific teams with a dugout and everything else in there, which are really cool. And those are double-sided as well, so you might get a winter side and then a regular summer side, or you get two dwarves on one side and Skaven on the other.
How much are they, and which one would you recommend? Which is your fave?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. They've all been pretty good. I think the best one was probably the Dark Elves one. The Naggaroth one, because again, it was a wooden ship. So it had all that kind of, and on the other side of it, the ship was kind of half sunk. So you kind of had water coming out the sides of it and stuff. So that was really cool. So yeah, I'll go with that one. And there are special rules. Each of the pitches comes with its own set of little extra rules you can play for what the pitch does, so it interacts with the game.
Oh my God. That is, look, that, and are they, do you stock those?
We do, however, much like a lot of the Blood Bowl stuff, they are limited. So they come out with the release, and then it's just a case of whatever stock is left over is what people have. So they tend to not keep them in stock very long. I think we've got a few of the pitches left, like the Ogres and I think the Old World Alliance or something. Because they've done mixed race teams as well now. You can actually get a mixed race with dwarves, humans, and halflings all in the same team, and other stuff like that, and chaos teams.
Oh my God, that is absolutely awesome. So, Skelly, so have you got any additional pitches, or have you just got the pitch in the? I just got
the box pitch and the teams, but I might see if we can get hold of one or two because I like the variability, and if there's got extra rules and stuff, it adds a little bit of character to the games, especially if I've got a dark elf team. Yeah. So I've got to have a black arc pitch.
Yeah,
definitely. A big shout out to, and I've got no idea who this company is, but Andy will know. I have a Blood Bowl team who are nuns. Absolutely awesome. Shadowforge, they're amazing.
Shadowforge. A bunch of Australians did a whole load of stuff quite a few years back now. They did nuns, they did bunny girls, they did... Basically, they're all female teams. They do predominantly female miniatures, if not completely female miniatures. But yeah, they did a lovely nun team. They did a bunny girls team, female owls, female humans, female orcs were amazing. Wow. They tend to do a lot of sideline figures as well. So you'll get like the backroom staff and coaches and trainers and all sorts of mad stuff. But yeah, they do some lovely, lovely stuff.
I must admit, I love the Blood Bowl nuns. Absolutely amazing. The figures are stunning. Just a quick one over to let's start off with Skelly on this one with the bases. So on this box, grass and bases, etc. Maybe next week we can try and get some photos or bring some models in that we painted.
If you want to see a base, I can just nip out and grab a model. I don't know. This lighting might not be ideal, but
if you want to go grab one, we'll go to Andy next. So Andy, recommendations. So how the hell? I've bought my box. I've had to get painting. Do I do the bases first or last or what am I doing?
To be honest, I tend to do my bases last. So I'll have the model on a separate base. So just an old trashy base. I'll paint the whole model and I'll do the base separately, and then I'll pin my model to the base at the end. I really enjoy doing basing. It's one of my favorite things about painting and doing that kind of side of the hobby is coming up with a base that tells a story. So rather than just being, oh, here's a Blood Bowl player and he's on a grass pitch. Yeah, that's okay. But I look at it and go, right, so he's a halfling Blood Bowl player. What would a halfling be on? He wouldn't just be on a regular pitch. There'd be something slightly different about it. And especially when it comes to like 40k or Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Fantasy, whatever it is, the base tells a story as far as I'm concerned. So I spend time on the bases going, right, what story is this base telling? Where are these people or these creatures at the time that I've taken this snapshot of their life?
Yeah.
So yeah, I tend to do all mine separately, and I'll sculpt bases. I'll spend probably as much, if not more, time on the bases than I do on the models themselves. And there are a lot of companies out there that do like resin bases. We do them at Worcester War Games. We'll sculpt and cast bases up in resin, and then you can have the base of your.
Oh wow! Do you do like Blood Bowl bases then?
Yeah. We do the Blood Bowl bases. We do bases for just about everything. There goes one right there. So this is for Age of Sigmar or 40k. This is skulls.
Oh wow!
And stuff like that. So yeah, we sculpted all that stuff, and then we produce them in different sizes and shapes and all the different variations that you could need. And yeah, we just do all sorts of stuff like that for bases, because like I say, basing for me is a big part of it. But again, if you want to do a bigger version of it, if you're trying to do an army and you need to do 30 or 40 of those, it will cost a fortune for that many skulls, and it will take you hours and hours. So right, we'll just make 3 or 4 different ones, recast them, make them in resin, then people can buy the base that they want then. And we'll do commission bases. So people go, somebody recently said, I want some dwarf bases for my Dwarf Blood Bowl team. So we made essentially flagstone bases, but with dwarven runes etched into them. So it looks like they're playing on an old dwarven ruin.
Wow. Yeah, and maybe next week if you can bring some pictures on, because this sounds highly exciting. Sounds awesome. So first of all, I've heard of this thing called sterling mud. Again, don't eat it. That's my number one.
Any mud really.
Well,
got to get out of those habits sometime.
So sterling mud, I've had a go on with sterling mud, and it looks pretty good. The pot's not that big. What do you think, Andy, on that one first?
Sterling mud. Yeah, it's fine. It's great. I've got a pot right next to me and some astro granite and all sorts of stuff. My only issue, as you say, the pot size is very small, and you'll get through quite a bit of it when you come to use it. Vallejo do a much larger pot. Just there. So that's the Vallejo one. It's £10 compared to the essentially £5 for GW compared to the £10 Vallejo one.
The Vallejo one looks white.
That one's water effect.
You can get all different colours.
But yeah, they do different colours. Their range isn't quite as big as GW's, but at the end of the day, you can paint it afterwards. You wait for it to dry, you paint it and dry brush it, and it doesn't matter what colour it was. So yeah, I'd recommend the Vallejo ones.
And I would definitely go for that. Is that so? What is the recommendation? Use an old brush, or how would I get it out of the pot and onto my model?
Use some plastic. Don't use a brush on that.
Yeah, you can use a brush, but yeah, it tends to get up inside the little metal piece, and it'll just your brush is knackered quite quickly. Yeah, coffee stirrers. Run into Costa or Cafe Nero or whatever. Just grab a fistful of them off the counter because they give them away for free, and just completely clear them out. Take all those, and you've got applicators for days.
Take all those. So I definitely didn't get this tip from the Geek Show. Nothing to do with you can't see those guys.
Nerds go charging into coffee shops all across the country, stealing all their stirrers.
That looks amazing. So that stuff's what Vallejo.
Yeah.
What's it called? Vallejo?
Just texture, I think.
I think it's texture effects or ground texture or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it comes in a range of colors, brown, light brown, kind of yellowy blacks, and all sorts.
So they do a lot of supplies for dioramas and stuff, so they've got an amazing range of that sort of stuff.
Do you have those in the shop, Andy, and on
We
your
do,
website?
Yeah.
That's good. So brilliant. So because the trouble is, people go, "Oh, use this texture paint," and you go, "Great, Vallejo texture," and you go there, and there's like 10 different types, and you think, "Oh no, which one?" Oh.
Yeah, like I say, it doesn't really matter which one you pick because if you're going to repaint it anyway, it doesn't matter. They're all essentially the same thing, just different colors. So
okay, well, that's good.
Pick the brown one, paint it red. Pick the black one, paint it white. It's your choice.
I'm liking that. It's just from being a novice, you suddenly think, is there different consistency? Is this going to have like a weird different effect? I don't know. I'm just trying to. You know what I mean?
There are one or two of those. A white stucco, which is smooth. It's got no little bits and stuff in it at all, so it's a very smooth finish. But they tend to be all the same, bar the ones that are clearly different.
Oh, okay, awesome. So over to
ask. If you don't know, ask us.
I ask you about 1 billion questions a day. So I'm surprised you're still talking to me. So Skelly, over to you then, sir. Let's have a look at your base.
Okay, well, this is a basic...
You may have to put your hand behind it just for the camera to pick it up.
I may do so. This is a basic base because I thought starter set, I will do something different for the Nagaroth Nightmares. I might do like kind of a stone texture effect and something different for the Fire Mountain guys. But I thought this is a basic base, so it's your standard. He's on grass. So it's not picking up the texture of it so well there. I don't know if I have to twiddle my nozzle to get a focus. I'm just going to give it a twiddle.
No, that's good. And what? Yeah, you can sort of see that. What? Yeah, that. Oh, so yeah, it's. So
it's got kind of a knackered effect because it's particle grass that you'd normally like glue and then put it on.
But because is that like static grass stuff?
It's not static grass because static grass technically needs a static applicator and make it stick up, and it's amazing. Yeah. When you get it working, but you need to have something that can generate static charge. So static applicators tend to be expensive. This is just particles. So it's almost like in the olden days we used to glue the base, then stick it in sand, then paint over the sand. But this is basically green flocky type stuff. I actually painted the base in an earth color, and then I put glue on top, dipped it in the grass, let it dry, and then I did a very, very thin down layer of glue on top before I painted. But that also has the effect of you see in some places around there it's kind of knackered the grass, especially around there.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
it's kind of knackered the grass, so it looks like it's the turf's been ripped up and there's mud underneath. And then I did a thin down white line. It's basic, but it's
a quick question on the white line. Is there any tricks of the trade for your white line?
Water down the paint more than you normally would because you can always go over it again, but you want it to be look quite thin because you don't want it just to be. It needs to look old and knackered because it's the pitch that they've not redone in a while and it's had people running over it, and you want to see the texture come through. So water it down more than you would, and if you want it a bit stronger, just go over it again.
I saw a tip where somebody got one of those wooden coffee stick things, painted the edge of it badly, and then printed it on the.
You don't want your line to be too straight because it's going to be some goblin walking down the pitch with one of those things, and it's a broken up pitch. So don't use a rule or anything. Just do it freehand because it's meant to be a bit of a knackered line.
Well, the bit I liked with that paint stick bit is if you are really crap at painting like myself, it looks better. You get a better end result.
It won't. I think freehand, man. It won't help you out though. If you do your lines freehand. And then it doesn't matter if they look a bit knackered because it's a drunk goblin doing the lining on the pitch. True. And it's improving your freehand line skills. So when you come to do your hazard lines on your big dangerous dreadnought, you'll be a bit more experienced by then. So it all adds to it. You won't get better unless you make yourself do things.
Well, all I can say, guys, is I'm glad that I've taken this up as a hobby, not tattooing.
Arguably less fun when you get it wrong, but...
So just a quick question back to Andy. So Andy, another fun thing about Blood Bowl is the custom dice.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it and what are they?
Again, it's one of those things. Every time a new team comes out, they tend to go, here's a pitch, here's some cards, here's some dice. And they try and make the dice kind of thematic to whatever teams come out. So obviously the Necromantic team that you were just showing off came with orange dice with little kind of pumpkin eyes and faces on them. So that was the side, I think, of the 6. So yeah, they try and kind of every time they release something new, you'll get a load of little extra bits and pieces, and that's where the dice come from. The dice are dice at the end of the day. Blood Bowl has its own special set of dice, but they tend to kind of do them for each team as well.
Oh wow! But you can buy them separately, can you?
You can, yeah. Again, very limited. They kind of come in, they'll be around for a week or two, and then they're gone again. So yeah, it's very much a. Hopefully, you get the ones you want. Certain ones you never see. You'll kind of see 2 sets of them, and that's it. They're gone.
Oh wow! Yeah, definitely. So that's a very good. Pete's come out with a good idea. So guys, if you could, this will be on YouTube and also on Facebook. We will share this around. This will be hopefully shared on the Worcester Wargaming site as well, your Facebook site. So if you could on there, guys, post up your pictures of any of your Blood Bowl teams, and then what we'll do next week, we'll get Andy and Skell and myself, and we'll work out who's our best one, and maybe I have something random, some V2A random stuff, and a winner will get something.
Yeah, I'll find some stuff from the shop as well. I've got tons of stuff knocking around. We can sort out a little goodie bag for people.
Yeah, well, let's spread this out a bit so somebody will win something next week. So go on to look up on Facebook, Worcester. What's it? Worcester War Games.
Worcester War Games. Yeah, or just go to my personal one. To be honest, ignore the Worcester War Games one. It's fine, but go to my personal one and post it all up on there. That's the best one to do.
So we will. Yeah, I will post that up on the. Well, we'll do it on the Cult of V2A because that's probably the easiest one. Because we've got like so many thousand of people on there, and we get Andy on there and Skelly, and then start posting up your pictures. Also, guys, as I am a novice, I am going to go into this competition. I'm going to wow you. You will see my pictures of some of my stuff, and you'll think, "Why? Really? That's sort of But yes, good job. I'm not a tattooist. So also, just one last thing before we start to finish off this. If you play Dungeon Bowl, there was doors.
Yeah.
How unbelievably awesome is
this?
There's
walls. You got to get through them somehow.
Seriously,
that's an advanced tier request door, isn't it? They say it from the same kind of door. Yeah, advanced tier request.
Tier request.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that was what advanced about it. Basic here request. You had 2 doors. You had the closed one, and then when you opened it, you swapped it out for the open one.
All right.
So that one, you could just push it open. It's like it's advanced.
Guys, I have learned so much on this. So thank you for everybody watching. We're going to bring this to an end. Next week, as I said, we're going to have a bit of a painting competition on Facebook. So we will share Andy's site and the Cult V2A, and we'll put them all on there. Next week, we will pick 2 games to chat about. Any recommendations? I'd like to do one on post-apocalyptic games because I've got some good ones and some stinkers.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be quite good. And also maybe a bit more on Aliens or Blood Bowl. Maybe we'll go back to Aliens next week because hopefully I would have had to go building something.
Yeah. I'll try and get a tutorial done for some of the characters in there as well.
Excellent. And I'll do a tutorial as well of the top 100 things not to do when trying to paint your alien. So also, guys, if you've got any Blood Bowl or if you've got any Aliens figures from the new Another Glorious Day in the Corpse, post them up. And as I said, we will have a paint competition. And who will be the Uber painter next week and get all the bragging rights for a whole week until the next show. That sounds good. So before we go, Skelly, any last words to your adoring fans?
You don't
wise words of wisdom.
Oh, yeah, I've got some wise words. You don't have to be the best painter in the world. There's tons of really good painters out there. What you want to be doing is painting and enjoying it. So don't worry about what the outcome. You'll only get better as you do it. Just keep on doing the damn hobby.
That's very good words, actually. Andy, as our mentor and as our Jedi, me being the Padawan or something like that. I don't know where I was going with that conversation, but it was quite entertaining. So, words to your adoring fans and wise words.
It's the journey, not the destination. Enjoy your painting.
That is excellent. And from me, guys, my main point that I've learnt this week is don't try and eat that soap stuff because it's not nice. That's it from me, guys. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. Please share this. This is going to be on YouTube and Facebook and all everywhere. Please like it, share it, get into the painting competition. Let's make this into something epic every week. And we're going to be talking to a few brands and see if we can get some freebies out there too for prizes and stuff. Enjoy your painting, guys. Thank you so much to Andy and Skelly. I've really enjoyed this. I've learned so much. It's been really good fun. And Dungeon Bowl forever. Yay. Cheers, guys. And we will see you next week on The Geek Show. Bye.